the ability to stop that Brand, the Zeri, and the Varus, but they can't disrespect them.
Where's the Ornn ult?
4 stacks for Milky Way, by the way, so it does have that range increase. Call of the Forge God, and DDZ flashes to make it happen. Baitron, the target, and found.
Oh, Raccoon.
From Life as Care is on the
Nice jump by Care. Slow chase here with their triple AD carries. What they need to do, they don't have front line, and it's got to slowly poke them down.
Right now, but there's no jungler for the side of TT as Doctum chases TT away, and Care is on the.
They should look for something here.
Tower to get onto, and they're slowly being picked apart. It's the Drake for
Watch out for the hook. Just flash the hook. Yeah, nice. Nice. Oh, the flash from Doctam was great. The flash from Doctam was great.
Not a single casualty in the follow-up.
Great fight from FPX. Great fight. Amazing fight from FPX.
And Milky Way pulls the Lamb's Respite out at the best possible
Doctam flashed into the Lamb's Respite as well. It was crazy.
Make a difference, and they cannot do it. Fun plus Phoenix.
Great play.
Getting themselves all of that damage, all of those AD carries.
ZDZ engaged was crazy good. R here, flash R onto base one.
To start things off.
The turn here, where Care is positioned here, is so perfect for uptime. Life gets Reddington's flash, and he gets a 3-man. Then they disengage. Slow chase.
But they have been shredded so low that they can't.
So hard for TT to fight.
With the Tristana, with the Ezreal, with all their range and their mobility. Poor Hoyer and Feather, they don't have.
And now Care, the only thing that can stop them from winning the fight is Nautilus Hook. So watch what Care does. La 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 la. Fight's over. No CC for Tristana. Doctam flashes into the Lamb's Respite.
We're back into a fight.
How did they come out of replay and they just lost the fight and they're about to lose Baron? Oh my god, FTX, you're so disgusting. What on earth just happened? What on earth just happened? They were up 4K!
Minutes of all quiet on Summoner's Rift.
That's disgusting.
I'm
done.
For him.
I'm done.
10 kills in the ensuing 10 minutes. And it's going to be Baron over for TT, just as we were praising FPX for using their mobility.
We went into a replay for 30 seconds, and they just lost the game after this fight. 5 for 1 and a bot tier 2.
How does this start? H1, he's a Brand and a choke point. Gets knocked up at the start of this, but it's not a full combo. And then they have to respond into the Brand ult. It's a passive onto
What is Life doing?
Milky Way can't be the difference maker.
Oh,
We've seen
good
this all
God.
year, folks. You
Good
can't go
God.
to a choke point versus
What on
Brand.
earth is
Baitron
happening?
makes the difference.
We thought it was done and dusted for FPX.
I glazed them for one fight and it's over? They've lost?
Shredding everybody and with his passive, and suddenly TT are straight back into things. We are 500 gold apart between the two teams.
Unbelievable.
53 to 47.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It couldn't be
Unbelievable.
here.
Unbelievable.
Right,
It's like the game is won. Nice, and we threw it.
Playoffs, and this is how close our series are. It's 2 minutes until the next Drake. FPX maybe still with an advantage, but it's minor at best.
Folks, this is why we love the LPL. Round 1, and it's still just so exciting. Baron buff being used, Baitron looking for the start!
Ooh, dive the mid! Just dive the mid, forehead. Boy, they're all 1 HP. Zeri time. Life is always flanking. I feel like he might need to be with his backline. They're gonna get top tier 1 as well. Oh my god, TP won the game actually. That's crazy.
To the random pick potential. Baitron, his Brand has been so key to
They have top tier 1 as well. Drake's in 120. Zeri's close to 3 items. Oh my god, TD.
Backs against the wall, they found a couple of really
Oh my god, this is heartbreak for FPX. If they lose in the first round. If they lose in the first round, then they're out, really?
Not like this, FPX. Not like this.
Come on, man. Oh, fuck.
Like this.
Was Milky Way a 1-split wonder?
Is good from the rest of the squad here. TT finished the tower.
Is it? That's it? They lose and they're out?
I mean, Doctam doesn't even die from this. Doctam's caught out, but I mean, you can say that actually overstay from the rest of the members is maybe where the fault lies after that point, because it's Care that goes down. Care, such a good
His team is inting. No, I get that.
After, again, a weird year from him. He was one of the big reasons in spring why they couldn't quite cross that finish line in that best of 5 they played back then. It is so difficult watching these teams, which we've watched all year, come down to this so close within a couple of
They're gonna drop Drake and get top tier 2. Look at the pings. FPX are gonna try and slow it down. I mean, their scaling is not bad.
20 seconds. FPX don't have the setup this time.
Bren.
It's a rarity for them, I know. They've been the
They have
ones
no
with the better
TPs
setup.
either. Top tier 2 is dead. Tristana has TP. Brandl's down.
He can't get himself into the positions he wants.
Will just be a tower on the top side.
A lot of gold to Tristana.
The Drake is spawning and TT will get themselves to soul point. FBX just trading opposite instead, not willing to contend right now. Not that surprised after how the last couple of
All right, EU, it's time. Pick up Milky Way.
So I could
Go on.
understand a thought process here for FBX.
K-Corp Milky Way.
Let's just scale a little bit more.
Would go
get
kinda
more
hard.
Items. Maybe in 5 minutes time, will be scaled enough to try and take them on. You're against this area and a brand, they ain't slowing down.
This is the problem. You have the Ornn. Yes, it's the Ornn versus the Renekton, and that individual matchup's gone well. Hoya has not necessarily been the
He's in
player
contract jail.
to crush this game through. He
Ooh,
has a lot
he's
of
in
advantage
RNG now,
but
isn't he?
It wasn't through the individual 1v1. This is where the brand Varus comes into play, and this is why I think we will see the return of Varus. Varus is really back in the on hit, and the changes to the passive and some of the items working in his favor too. Ornn does not survive the brand Varus. You probably need to blow a
He's
kick
an
to
RNG.
keep him alive, and that is not what you want to see. The
Yeah, get him in
damage and the gold
Shopify.
available to
Damn,
Zaytron
Shopify
and
Milky
1xN
Way.
means that the front line from FPX needs to play very, very differently. They did have that win condition to play through laning phase. That didn't work out for them. They had a fallback option.
Life is cooking and engage here, and Yukal has no flash. He's dead. Oh, he lived. No shot that he lived there. Wow. Wow. They lost Rako and Flash and Tristana TP, and they got Varus Flash. That's it. Shield go diff.
Game 5, it could come down to one of those miracle picks. We can talk about win conditions, we can talk about 5v5s. If you're out of position, yeah, Nautilus Hook, Ornn, Rakan, all of this stuff could flip the game on its head. We've got Baron spawning in a minute, Dragon spawning in next to you at this point. A fight there wouldn't
Ornn
necessarily
upgrades aren't
ended up
in
with
yet.
the objective, but this is what we've been saying about these teams in the LPL. Sometimes you can fight for summoners, and now suddenly you've got that flash out of 1xN. That's actually
Infernal
more
Cinders
important
hidden OP.
than getting Yukal out of position.
Varus ult down.
Just as we say that, these fishing for summoners, fishing for the engages continues.
Dogdam's
FPX,
thing
they
so
need to be
cocky.
so careful.
I
They
like
don't
it.
have those big ults available to them. That's what they use to stop TT's anti-tank getting the damage done.
Stop who's anti-tank?
Dogdam and Life moving over from Korea this year to try and make a name for themselves here in the LPL. And this 2v2 duo has had its ups and downs, but they have had some really big moments. It feels like Israel for Dogdam needs to be a big carry for his squad.
You become a completely different person after you've eaten? What do you mean a completely
1xN
different
really
person after
has
I've
been the
eaten?
main character of this bottom lane so
do you mean?
far across this series.
What changed?
Dogdam finally gets that Ezreal for a game. Let's see if he can have similar performance.
Why are you all saying true? What's the difference?
We saw from 1xN. Maybe this is his
Different
chance
energy?
to
I was
take
hungry,
on
man. I was
something.
hungry.
TT, I
I'm
mean,
streaming
we
for
saw
8 hours,
on
cuh.
the bottom side where FPX just kind of outranged everyone on TT and just corralled them. I'd love to see more of that from them, but it does feel difficult to achieve.
I think one of the things which is going to really hurt that, watch where the Rylai's burn goes. If you're walking forwards as the Kindred or the Tristana and you
Gotta
do
go
get
cheer
tagged
for
some of that
MDK.
damage, it's much harder
Yo,
to play
good
through
luck.
range because you're slowed by a heck
A
of a
por
lot.
ellos.
If Baytron gets himself that
I think they're gonna lose 3-0.
I
But
will say that
if
FPX,
Mad take a game, that's
you
already
still
really
have
impressive.
a
IMO.
lot of ability to spread and make sure that they don't get themselves that clumped fight.
Unironically, if Mad take a game, that's already crazy good.
To make sure that fights are starting on their terms, but you can't deny the power of this brand in this late game. We've seen him do it all year.
As EDZ on tank duty.
Hook buffered. Ornn ult. No flash. Stunned on the Ornn ult. Milky Way. He's gonna have to ult here. Ult comes out. Renekton's on the side. Knock up on the base one. Flashes into the Kindred ult. Flash back. Knocked back. Hoya's out. Good knock by Care. Hoya has flash though. Can connect. Who's he gonna connect on? There goes Yukal. Yukal gets knocked. Nice knocked. Q misses from Dogdam. 1xN lives. Back comes Milky Way. Flash from Hoya. Dogdam lives. Just about lives. Turn comes in. Care jumps over the wall. Has the flash. 1xN flashes down. Reset comes in. No flash on Nautilus. They can end mid. It might be over. It might be over.
I think they've done it! I think they've
They just won!
The Thundertalk might have just fallen to a
What?
whisper. Dogdam
What?
and Care turn it around when they need it the most.
When it was all on the
There's
line,
no way.
FPX, they went all
There's
the way
no way.
to 5
There's no way they won that game.
Story
TT's out.
is not finished yet. forget this incredible debut.
Fly, Phoenix,
from
fly.
Milky Way, this incredible year from the rest of the squad. They keep their playoffs and world's dreams
Wow,
alive.
FPX won the mid-fight and it's over just like that?
Thunder Talk, blink, and you miss it. The clouds are cleared.
Okay, Milky
The
Way
thunder
still
is no
alive.
more. It is clear.
He's gonna go
Skies
into
be
the next
flying
round with
into
FPX
Phoenix.
against
Milky Way
anyone's
and crew
legends.
will win their first best of 5 of the year. They will go beyond that first
Oof,
round. And
almost
Thunder
knocked out.
Talk,
This close to being knocked
it
out.
looked like it was in the palm of their hands. They had so much
FPX
damage
lives to
depth.
die
That
another
team
day.
fight was won.
And
They
that day is in
overchased
2 days
FPX.
because the LPL
They
playoffs is every day.
bounced back. What a hell of a clutch out from them.
Jesus.
What a moment for FPX. They do make it to the next round of playoffs. I mean, this roster, such a fresh roster in the grand scheme of the LPL. And yet, so much success. Making it to round 3 of playoffs,
Yeah.
last time around off seeding. This time,
Really good fight by Care. Really good fight by Care. Good kiting by Milky Way. The fact that Milky Way lived there is crazy. Let me see it. Let me see how Milky Way lived there, because that is criminal that Milky Way got out there.
Alive.
Okay, well I can't clip that far back. Fuck. Alright, LEC is in 4 minutes, chat. Do you want to finish this quick?
Listening to me can speak that day was a
However, there was a however. I don't know if we have time to watch this because LEC is starting.
An enemy has
Never letting go. I know I shouldn't, but I'm rising. Any way that I can go before crashing down.
And as the war turned against the Confederacy, depressed and full of hate, he was already plotting his revenge on the man he held responsible.
Abraham
With further
Lincoln.
Confederate losses, it was pretty clear at this point who would win. But still, Jefferson Davis showed no sign of giving in. The North were frustrated to see the conflict being dragged out. Why waste more lives? In Atlanta, General Sherman...
Wait, he's the Confederates, right?
Forcing the Confederacy's hand. He had an unusually modern concept, that an army could only survive with the support of the people. Strike at the people, and the army collapses.
True.
Sherman decided to do something unprecedented.
True.
He would remove his 62,000 men from their supply line and march through the heartland of the Confederacy, where they would live off the land. There, they would wreak havoc. As they marched, they tore up railroads, burned farms, and destroyed communication lines. They also liberated
have phones back then?
thousands of slaves. The damage done was estimated at $1.4 billion. The tactics were cruel.
No
but
way.
to Sherman, it was better than losing yet
They had
more
radio
men
probably,
in
right?
battle. In December, he reached Savannah, Georgia, but he wasn't done yet. Next, he turned north to inflict his punishment on the
Telegraphs.
first state to secede, South Carolina. As he moved, he came ever closer to General Lee's army.
He's getting up to the
still
LEC.
holding out at Petersburg. The siege of Petersburg had lasted for 292 days.
Jesus.
60,000 of Lee's men had deserted. Numerous Union
Deserted?
attempts to breakthrough had failed, but when the breakthrough finally came, it came quick. On April 2nd, a Union assault finally pushed the Confederates from their defenses. Hey man, there's no need to evacuate, right? You'll rescue us like last time, right? Sorry, can't hear you.
What do you mean deserted?
Lee narrowly escaped the city, hoping he'd be able to meet up with General Johnson and continue the fight. Grant chased him down. Richmond was evacuated, and Jefferson Davis went on the run. As they left, the Confederates set fire to military buildings, but the flames burnt out of control, and as the Union troops arrived, they became firefighters. A couple of days later, Abraham Lincoln visited the war-torn city.
GG.
Grant caught up to Lee at Appomattox Courthouse, where he trapped
First
his
radio
forces.
broadcast ever
It
was
here, on
1906.
April 9th,
Reginald
1865,
Fessenden, really.
That Lee saw no point in continuing.
He gave up.
Sir, listen, bub. I drank a bit too much last night, and now I'm hanging like a fruit bat on a hot day. So whatever you have to say, I don't want to hear it. General Lee says he wants to surrender. Hot diggity dog! Grant and Lee met in the home
He
of a
gave
nearby
up.
farm family, owned by a man who had tried his best to escape the Civil War years earlier, Wilmer McLean. All right, can we all just hurry up and get this over with? Martha, not now! I'm cleaning! Do you want us to get rats? Grant and Lee, after years of
I
war,
mean-
now spoke respectfully to one another.
Why not?
When Lee left, his face filled with emotion, Grant's men began to cheer, but Grant ordered them to stop. He knew that now was the time for reconciliation. Just over 2 weeks later, General Johnson would surrender to
It's
Sherman,
over.
ending the war for 89,000 Confederate soldiers in the largest surrender of the war.
The North
Not
won.
every Confederate state had surrendered, but the
what the
war
fuck?
was as good as over. Across the North, church bells rang out and celebrations erupted. In Washington, Lincoln gave a
Abraham
speech
Lincoln
from the
the
White
GOAT.
House to a jubilant crowd, in which, among various things, he expressed his support for black voting rights. Lincoln had seen the nation through its deepest crisis. The presidency had visibly aged him. He had lost over 20 pounds. He said sometimes, "I think I am the tiredest man on earth." I'm not sure tiredest is a word, but geez, the man's exhausted. Cut him some slack. On a carriage ride with Mary, Lincoln clearly was looking forward to being a president in a time of peace. He was apparently very cheerful, surprising his wife, and he told her that between the war and the loss of their son, they'd both been very miserable. Now, it was time to be happy. On the evening of April 14th,
Yeah, time to be happy.
Lincoln attended a play with his wife and some friends at
Ooh,
Ford's
hell yeah,
Theater.
some plays.
It was a comedy, and the president appeared to be enjoying it very much. In a nearby bar, John Wilkes Booth swallowed 2 glasses of brandy.
Oh,
He
hell
slipped
no.
quietly into the president's booth and awaited for the audience's laughter to rise. The president was shot in the back of the head.
What the fuck?
Fled the city. Soldiers carried Lincoln to a boarding house across the street. There, doctors declared there was nothing they could do. Surrounded by his heartbroken wife,
No
son,
shot.
and members of cabinet, at 7:22 the next morning, President Lincoln passed away. Never before had a president been murdered. A shocked nation mourned as a 12-day funeral procession
12-day
carried Lincoln
funeral.
back to his home in Springfield, Illinois. On April 26th, Union cavalry found John Wilkes Booth in a barn in Virginia, where he was shot. Not long after,
So they found him, they found that
Confederate
sucker.
President Jefferson Davis was also tracked down and arrested.
Did he
Imprisoned
plot
for
it?
2 years, he was eventually released. The North didn't want to put him on trial for fear the jury may rule that Southern secession had in fact been legal. To ensure reconciliation, other Confederate generals and politicians were allowed to re-enter life in the now restored Union. Scattered fighting continued into May, when the last Confederate forces in Texas disintegrated. The southern states came under northern military occupation to prevent any
And then
further
then
rebellion.
the USA
and a
was
very
formed.
difficult era of Reconstruction began.
Who was the
Over
president
3
after Lincoln,
million
chat?
Americans had fought, brother
Oh my God.
against brother.
What
the Civil
the fuck?
War remains the bloodiest conflict.
2/3
in US
died
history.
from disease.
But the Union had been preserved. You could
Holy
say
shit.
the real winners were those who were to never
Is that how
again
war
be
works?
slaves.
Most people just die from
Further
disease
amendments
and
passed by
illness?
Congress gave black individuals the right to citizenship and to vote. Significant progress had been made. However, entering into the 20th century, it was clear the fight for equality.
Chat, what
would
year was
continue.
that?
In modern America, the man who fought to preserve the nation and never gave up in the darkest of times
What year was Lincoln?
stands as a symbol of honesty, empathy,
1880s.
humility, perseverance, and courage.
Holy.
A continuous reminder of what has forged America and what it should ever strive to be.
Damn. There was a history lesson, chat. We learned about the American Civil War. Was a good one.
Bunny lady, big circles. Is it too much to ask when it's supposed to happen?
No, I had a whole presentation yesterday, but today I have hope. I have Caps, I have Broken Blade, I have Mirwin. I have 3 guys that I want to see play Aurora. And
That was a good one. That was a good one.
But in the meantime, of
Good
course,
history
there's a
lesson,
lot to
chat.
talk about when it comes
I
to
like
this
learning
series.
about
Let's get a
history.
look at the G2 perspective and a more in-depth look at the semifinals.
Ooh, is it an interview with Dylan?
Goldberg will be sitting down with Dylan Falco and Rodrigo in the Marriott Bonvoy
An interview with Dylan.
And thank you very much, Dracos. I am joined here by Dylan and Rodrigo. Thank you so much for taking your time here in the series.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So ahead of your series today, I wanted to take a look at some of the clips we saw from the final. And the first clip I brought is an early game clip, and I'd love to get your analytical skills in a situation like this, because I'm sure you've watched this as well. I'm sure you've seen it live.
What happened here?
What kind of clip are we looking at right here?
So I think this is a level 1 from one of our games, just the opening where I believe we're splitting the map for Ezra lane. In this matchup in particular, Ezreal's actually very strong level 1.
Level 2
gets a lot
bot
of push, a lot of pressure. And especially with the Poppy counter pack, we kind of want to enable Ezreal to be the pressure
Wait,
point
this
of the
ain't a
map.
good
And I
play.
think in this
Wait, hold up.
clip we go for, I would say, a pretty optimistic dive.
Yeah.
Optimistic. Completely trolled.
I think this is a case where probably our overall game plan is okay.
So, chat, I'll give you some stakes for this game. It's G2 versus Mad. If G2 win, Fnatic Clock Worlds.
Miggy's allowed to move all the way top.
And audio looks decent. Is that better?
Cover top, or is just a coincidental move that end up benefited BB on top side?
I mean, for sure it's not super conscious, but actually the death time...
Also, this will be a weird series, because as much as G2 are favorites, Mad has been boot camping in Madrid for 3 weeks. And I've heard some rumors here and there about what's been going on. And apparently it's been going pretty good. Apparently it's been going pretty good. Yeah, they have some big facilities in Madrid. They didn't go to Korea. They didn't go to Korea. They went to Madrid. They didn't go to Korea.
Playing for 3 pushing lanes and getting outscaled.
I thought they were going to Korea, but they went to Madrid. They bootcamped in different facilities. They changed the environment. They wanted to fix the vibes, fix everything. And I've been hearing some good news.
Misplaced early for the whole year. So I think it's just about cleaning up our early game. I don't even think it's much about the drafting or the team cohesion, because once it hit mid late, it felt like we were kind of in control of the fight the way they were going. So.
Fair enough. And let's also have a look at some of the good stuff as well. Obviously, a lot of comeback. G2's always been a late game monster. We've known you guys.
Monster.
Late game having superior impact than other teams.
Hold on, let me fill up my water.
Hold up. Other teams and maybe some other teams. You guys are kind of feigning a dragon and then going straight top.
I mean, this one, I think we believe we have how much fun we have on it, but I think here Fnatic just see us opening on bot side with Dragon coming, so it's very natural for them to think they're just going Dragon and top tower. We recognize that they're actually just trolling because we can actually just go top. We still have time for Dragon as well, so we just kill them, and then after that, I think the games are in a very good state for us because of our team comp and stuff, but they're just trying to get a trade that they actually cannot, and we recognize it very well.
Yeah, and I think we're in a state where...
And what happens if Mad wins? Then, if Mad wins, then I don't even know what to think anymore.
It's going to be pretty easy for
What a fucking retard.
Coming back, I guess that would be the current story of the moment.
If Mad wins, EU is... What is this one? The War of the Bucket.
We talk about a more holistic approach as well.
The thing is that nothing on the patch stood out as being really OP, so I kind
Back and forth in terms of what was actually you can see it behind us. It seemed like it was hard to figure out what really stood out as being really OP. Like it was up to the team what they wanted to play, but it was a bit back and forth. Sometimes you wanted to play to the tank junglers, sometimes you swept up to AP junglers, which never really made it so that you knew what the winning side was. Going forward, for having played season finals, having played AP junglers and the tank junglers, how are you moving forward with identifying what's actually the broken things and OP things that's standing out in the patch? Because there hasn't been too many changes outside of maybe Aurora being introduced as well.
I think there's been actually a lot of changes on this patch. I believe they nerfed the whole slew of AD mids as well as the whole slew of AP jungles. So I'm sure you saw yesterday that some of the draft plays were quite different than what was played before. So we do a lot of work with data. We do a lot of work
with data.
Kind of like strategy in theory with regards to actually
Didn't Falco
strategy.
There's
I think as coaching staff,
a couple of NA imports which did really well for EU.
I think that is
as much as NA takes the EU players,
I don't think that's how we look at
we
it as a team.
got Dylan Falco and Daniel Dracos.
We want the interactions, champions
good trade.
We want the interactions against enemy champions to be good. We want to have kind of a clear win conditions in the game. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not as clear as okay, today you're gonna play Maokai, today you're gonna go Zyra. I think it's always about adapting to what enemies.
Is this camera out of focus or is it just me?
So in some situations, just obviously we can switch from playing, for example, Zyra or Maokai, but it's always gonna come down to what he actually want to do and how his draft's gonna look overall. As Dylan said, we are just preparing a good draft overall, so sometimes it might be an AP jungle, sometimes it might be a tank, and I think that's what makes us very strong as well, just being able to switch from time to time, as long as we...
Dracos is from the USA?
Which would be...
Where the fuck did you think Dracos was from? Listen to his accent, he's not exactly fucking Italian, is he?
Talk a little about the past now, but now let's look ahead in today's match of the week between G2 versus MDK.
This summer, G2 proved again that they are the best team. And even though they stumbled on the road to victory, they dismantled Fnatic in the summer finals.
Fnatic just can't find a way through. The G2 reign continues.
G2 looked to be the first team to win everything domestically. 3 shields and the LEC season finals trophy.
Damn.
Now it looks like no one can stand in their way. MDK are coming into this series as clear underdogs, barely scraping their way into summer playoffs, only here because of their miraculous winter performance. Now it's up to Mad Lions Koi to prove that they belong in the season finals. Everything this year has
Matt's
led
been bootcamping
to
really hard,
finals.
but
will MDK be able to
the enemy
harness their
team does have
miracle run
caps,
form
so
for the summer, or will they be crushed down by G2's overwhelming momentum? G2 versus MDK.
Incredible voice on that particular human, whoever it is. Of course.
how can you listen to Dracos' accent and not think he's from NA?
How much more time you have on the stats? That's crazy how quickly you aren't allowed anymore. No. Anyway,
That's
MDK
crazy.
obviously are underdogs, but I think there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope, and I want to know how you guys feel about it because they've gone to
Bro,
boot
what the?
camp. We heard from Ebi, we heard from a couple other people as well. They have gone to the South Korea of EMEA, which right now is Madrid. I'm going to change, don't hold me to that. I might change that in the future. But they've been prepping, they've been practicing. Do you guys feel the faith? Are you starting to believe a bit more?
I mean,
The
anyone who
South
goes to South
Korea
Korea
of
knows
EMEA.
exactly what it's like over
Madrid.
there. It's ruthless, but look, I mean, realistically, I am glad to see that they are putting the effort in. Like, I'm not saying that they didn't before, but to actually say, hey, look, this is our focus. We
What
are
is
going
that?
to all get together. We are going to work on
What
a
is
lot of
that?
our problems that are stemming from that.
Why did you
mid-game
make
and
me
making
into
sure that we are
Aurora?
able
What have you
to
done?
find that success.
What have you
Their early games
done?
are good. It's just about getting
What
that
the
mid-game under
fuck?
control.
Yeah, and just going to a new environment and just being able to focus solely on one goal. Just maybe they can finally learn to take some siestas in the mid game again, and they can actually calm down a bit and look to think more rationally when the mid game comes around.
Something we're going to have to hope for, but of course, keeping in the trend of introducing or reintroducing our teams as we enter the season finals, MDK, a reminder of what's been good, what's been bad, things that we've been excited about, and I think one of the big things that you always like talking about, Finn, is that focus around the bottom side, specifically Alvaro and Elio.
I mean, you have to remember that this in Winter Split was our second best team. They were in the finals, and I think a lot of the performances came from the back of Yoya, Alvaro syncing up, opening fast on the map, and then looking to play very aggressively. And I think eventually people started seeing this pattern, and they got a bit complacent. Like, I think they didn't have that well, the Lions. But against a team like G2 that has been sloppy, has been a bit skipping steps in the mid game or early game as well, they can punish her, MDK, and I want to see them do it again today.
And I completely agree. I think Mad Lions Koi have actually been pretty solid in the early stages. Like, you look back to like BDS game 2 in the playoffs where Elyoya gets 4 kills in the early game on Talia, and they're trying to figure out how they can move into the mid game, but that's kind of where the slump has come from. And I think part of that has been like, while they've gone for a lot of this, hey, we're going to focus on the laning phase and getting Alvaro onto like a Braum counterpick and stuff like that, it oftentimes has left their drafts feeling a little frustrating in my mind because they don't have a lot of engage tools, they don't have the setup abilities to take that strong early
Wait,
game
Sea
and
Dog
then
just
lead
resubbed.
into
Yo, Connor!
So this is where my eyes are going to be focused
Connor,
on.
thanks for resub.
If they start to get back,
I'll give you a present now.
away from the kind of
Yeah, big questions as to what that boot camp is yielding for them, how they're going to adapt.
Thank you for the reset.
Bring back some of the
That was
form
a
we like,
special
or if
gift
it's something
for you.
new, of course, on the opposite side for
For
G2
you.
Esports, you might know them pretty well. And while it has